social media, the way it came into India, it has evolved dramatically since then. I don't think Twitter was intended for the purpose to which it is used today. Till about 2014, early 2015, and this my comment is from a particular political perspective. I found social media very exciting. There was a lot of pulse reading to be done. I could sense what the people were looking for, what they wanted to be explained, what they wanted to be commented on, what was working, what was not working. About 2 years down the line, I am not too sure anymore. Nistula just now said that mainstream media, MSM, is now alert and sensitive to social media. I think it's not quite that's not quite the case. What's happened is MSM has now to a large extent co-opted social media. That's very tragic, but it's true. And it's done it at multiple levels. So social media is used for it's used for putting out clickbaits. I want to attract traffic to my website, so I put it out through tweets and I get the clicks. And the dissenters who are the real body of social media, they have fallen for this trick. And I have often made this point that social media today has come down to mean only 4 anchors and 1 person. So it's either all praise for Prime Minister Modi, often irrational praise, or it's undiluted criticism of 4 television anchors. You're not even creating an echo chamber. You're sort of basically turning off people, newcomers. They don't want to hear constant 24/7 rant against Barkha Dutt or Sagarika Ghosh or Rajdeep Sardesai. That's tiresome. And what you're doing in the process is that you're putting a link to your comment, and somebody else, first thing that person does is goes and clicks on that link. So you are ending up generating business for mainstream media. The second point which I would like to make is that when we talk of social media, we are somehow fixated on Twitter. But Twitter is not social media really as of today. Facebook has gone way ahead, 1.5 billion users. That was about 3 months ago. So we are looking at a user base which is larger than China's population. You have new platforms coming up. Medium is one such platform. There's Quora. There's a new clone of Twitter which has come about called Gab. And then there is also restricted platforms like China's Weibo. I am on Weibo too. So if you are really looking at using social media to explore ideas, to project ideas, you can't restrict yourself to one platform or become obsessed with a particular idea or concept or a group of people. The third thing, I think institutionally India is not tuned into the idea of free expression. Freedom of expression is something which the establishment hates in our country. So governments may come, governments may go, but this essentially remains the core of the establishment. And I say this because I was among those whose Twitter handles were blocked by the Congress government. To what end? I mean, really it didn't matter because you could just bypass the block. And the block was lifted. And sadly, the person who led the block is an important functionary in this government. So, we also need to ask whether we as a people are comfortable with the idea of free expression, freedom of expression, free speech. And the last point which I would like to make is that if you want to take on mainstream media, social media has to build up its own credibility. You cannot put out stuff that cannot be backed up. It is often tempting, and a couple of times I have been fooled into believing stuff that is put out over there, which is unverified, which is unverifiable, and often just simply not true. Now that destroys not only your credibility, I mean, the credibility of a particular political perspective, but it also destroys the credibility of the platform. And since the other side's voice is stronger, they seize upon that one lapse to say, oh, it's social media, therefore it's not reliable. So these are some of the broad points which I wanted to make, and we can carry on discussing.
No, that's very helpful. And let me pick up on that and take this